Good morning. All right.
Use the big stick.
Use the big stick. All right. I'm not late. You guys are all 30 seconds early. Hope everybody's okay. We're here today for the regular open meeting of the United Woods Mutual Board of Directors, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. Today's Tuesday, June 9th. It is 9:32 on the clock. We're in the boardroom on El Toro Road. And we will now call this meeting to order. All right, we definitely have a quorum. Thank you, everybody, as always. And thank you in the audience for coming in. Right now, let's have the Pledge of Allegiance. And Kathy, would you please?
Thank you. Are we ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Okay. Any media here? They're probably online. So hi out there, the media, if you're there. Can I get approval of the agenda for today, please? A motion?
I move the agenda.
Okay. Second? It's a tie. Director Liberatore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to amend the proposed agenda. Under new business, I'd like the board to authorize to consult with a qualified acoustical engineer at approximately $150 to $300 per hour to review the document. Number 9, to determine Standard 9 is feasible, and if not, ask for advice about how to determine what AIIC rating is realistically achievable. And this hourly rate, it reflects the rates of acoustical consultants in the Los Angeles, Orange County area. Thank you.
Okay, under this consideration, Tony, and I don't have that much of a problem with it, but I know that I think what we're going to end up doing is kicking this back to committee. And I would strongly recommend that, and I will right now tell you what I'm going to suggest is getting this back to committee and have the committee do this. Okay? Sue?
Mr. President, I will second Tony's motion. And the reason being is that when you read through the architectural controls and standards, they already did that. They voted 2-1 to try to get this forward. If you go back into the architectural controls and standards section. So I think I'm not sure of the process, but they did that at the last meeting.
Okay. Who's first? I'm sorry, I was looking that way. Maggie?
The Architecture Alteration Standards Committee last month voted it down. Yes, we did.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yes,
It's not,
we
No
did.
crosstalk here,
We're all
please.
talking?
I just
We
said,
have
I
a little
just,
control here or
okay.
what?
take it easy, Tony, okay? We're here as a directors, okay?
We can look it up easily.
Okay, we can look it up easily. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna put it on the agenda right now. Okay, we will make that change. We'll talk about it
Can I
for a minute.
get, Tony,
Yes.
can you repeat the title so I know?
I have a copy of it here.
Okay.
I propose the board authorize to consult with a qualified acoustical engineer at approximately $150 to $300 per hour to review the document to determine Standard 9 is feasible, and if not, ask for advice about how to determine what AIIC rating is realistically achievable.
Okay, Paul?
So my question is, we already have a standard 9 item on 11D. Is this different from that?
Well, yes, I'm asking for the board, I'm asking to put under new business to consider the hiring of an acoustical engineer.
Does that be covered during that, right?
So that would be,
Yes.
that
It's already
discussion
on
would
the
then
agenda.
occur during item 11D.
Yeah.
Well, let's discuss it then.
Okay, we will when we get to,
Yeah, so we're not anything else. It's part of the agenda, so
Okay.
we'll just keep it as 11D. So
thank you.
we don't need to add anything, so let's just go back to the original motion of just approving the
Okay,
agenda.
so now we're going back to the original motion, and Sue, you did second, or?
I did, and if it's a moot point, then there's no point going
Right.
forward.
It's a moot point for right now. Yes, Elsie?
So does Anthony withdraw his motion at this time? Then we don't have to vote?
That's right.
No, I'd like it to be on, I'd like
But-
it to be on the record.
It's on, it's D.
Let's vote it down then.
Oh, he wants. it on the
Okay.
record.
It takes 3/4, so we can put it on the.
Right, and it takes a 2/3 vote to get it.
That's right.
It is on D.
Yeah.
11B.
We know, yeah, we know that. Yeah. So, okay, he wants a vote. All those in favor? What?
Of it being
Of-
11D.
His motion was read and seconded.
We're just agreeing to hear it as 11D.
No, Maggie.
No.
No.
His motion was to add an additional agenda item. So what you guys are voting for is whether this item will be added to the agenda. However, we already will be discussing it as it was previously added to the agenda.
So it's on the agenda.
So it is.
It is, yes, it is. So now we're voting,
What?
we're voting.
So he doesn't want to retract his motion, so you're going to be voting on it, even though we already have an item on there.
Okay. So again, the motion's there. We had a second, is that correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
unfortunately, I can't withdraw it.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so it's there. We're going to vote. All those in favor? Raise your hand.
it doesn't get the 2/3.
Hearing 11D as
No,
scheduled.
no.
No, Maggie.
No?
So I'm going to repeat this again. We have the item already on here as 11D, under unfinished business.
Yes.
Anthony, however, still wants to make his motion as he does not want to retract his motion.
In the record, he wants it on the record.
He wants it on
We want the
record, yes.
And we're voting if we are going to,
So again, the item is already on the agenda.
It is.
yeah, it is. It's on the agenda.
So
So we
just,
can't move to put it on the agenda. We can only move to take it off.
Okay.
Enlighten me, what's on the agenda?
11D is in
Acoustical
David.
engineer?
Yes.
you would just amend it.
Second page of
11D right
today's
here.
meeting notes.
Review and discuss Standard 9, Section 4. And then at that point, you would put forward your motion under unfinished business. It's the second page.
11D?
Yeah.
This is the agenda for today. It's 11D. It's already on here to have the discussion. He's not looking at the right one.
Oh, okay.
He's still in May.
I mean, the best thing is for him to retract his amendment,
Okay. Tony,
to make this run
Yeah.
smoothly.
we're going to ask you to retract your amendment because it's on the agenda already.
Okay, I agree to retract it.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. So, again, can we approve the agenda?
No, we need a vote to approve the agenda.
Okay, with a vote. Thank you. All those in favor? It passes. Thank you. All right. Now we need the motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 12th and May 28th.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Kathy. Second? Elsie, thank you. Anyone opposed? No opposed? We go forward. Thank you. Pass. All right. Now we get the report of the chair. Let's go right into Chris. Good morning, Chris. Chris is here from the City Council. And this is for oral discussion.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Nice to see you again. Always appreciate the opportunity to chat with you. This month, we wanted to talk about law enforcement services, and as part of that, I'm going to ask our new Chief of Police Services to introduce himself in a moment. But just To introduce the subject, so you're likely aware that in California, the traditional delivery system for law enforcement services is either for counties or cities to provide the services. The same was true here. The county provided the services prior to the city incorporating. The city took over law enforcement services in 1999. We do that under a variety of legal authorities, principally derived from the California State Constitution. When we talk about law enforcement, we're talking about criminal enforcement. We're talking about enforcing the California Vehicle Code, California Penal Code, a variety of other laws that apply statewide. Differentiated from private security in that law enforcement services are provided by peace officers who have authorities ranging from arrest and detention to search and seizure, and again, a different purview with that state criminal enforcement piece. In California, most cities have the ability to contract with the county for law enforcement services. That's what we do here in Laguna Woods. Next slide. So since July 1st of 1999, we have chosen to contract with the County of Orange for law enforcement services. What that means in practice is that the Orange County Sheriff's Department provides law enforcement services here in Laguna Woods. They do so under the direction of a local chief of police services, which is Captain Anderson. As you might expect, and as is the case really with every city or county that provides law enforcement services, it's a really significant portion of the city's budget. And so roughly 43% of our general fund, which is to say our unrestricted fund, is spent on law enforcement services. The City Council at their most recent meeting approved a new one-year contract with the Sheriff's Department for just under $3.64 million. That's how we do business with the Sheriff's Department. There's an annual contract that's approved this time of the year. Our fiscal year starts July 1, so that new contract starts July 1. It includes a variety of services, including deputies directly assigned to Laguna Woods and a whole host of other services that Captain Anderson will walk you through that we get access to without really paying for on a one-to-one basis. With that, I want to turn it over to Captain Anderson to introduce himself, and then he's going to talk to you about some crime statistics for the last year.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Brian Anderson. I'm a captain with the Orange County Sheriff's Department. I've been with the department for approximately 20 years. So I've had a variety of different assignments, but I'm new to the city of Laguna Woods as of mid-March of this year. So I look forward to working with everybody in the community, and thank you for having me here. So we'll get started with this one particular slide. As you can see, we're getting close to about 7,000 calls for service in the city of Laguna Woods. Half were self-initiated, and about half came in from the members of the community. So that's a good blend. That's what we want to see. We have these categories, and again, these are broad categories where approximately 81% of these mix come in. So when we talk about checks, these could be checks for a patrol check or a check for something suspicious, or it could be a welfare check for an individual. It could be vehicle related, anything like that. That's 42% of our calls. Traffic related, those are generally moving violations. It could be a hit and run. It could be a traffic collision, something that is related to traffic, particularly on public streets. So we're at about 17% of our calls there. Suspicious activity, that could be a whole host of things, right? So we definitely want to make sure that we are getting information and phone calls and tips and leads from the community. So when we get that information, our deputies are going to go out there, they're going to get out of their cars, walk around, talk to people, and figure out what the circumstances are and determine if it meets a criminal threshold. Crimes, right? We have two different buckets generally. Crimes against persons, right? And then we obviously have property crimes. So crime generally is 11% of our calls. Again, these have to be involved with deputies doing follow-up investigations and making sure we could figure out if we do have suspect leads or if it's a crime trend or anything like that. But again, that's only 11% of our calls. So one of the most important things I want to bring up that you see on this slide is see something, say something. That's a nationwide campaign, but that's where we really rely on the community members to make sure that they're calling our numbers. Next slide, please. We have a non-emergency number here that ends in 6011 that we encourage everybody to call in case they do see something suspicious, or maybe they got a suspicious phone call, or they haven't been able to make contact with a friend, something like that. If it is a true emergency, obviously 911, we're asking that the community, use those resources. And then the general matters is our Aliso Viejo substation, so they can call that number also. But really, what's really successful for us, and you saw it in the first slide, if we get half of our information or half of our calls from community members, that's a good thing, because we have good community engagement that allows us to be more effective at what we do. So I look forward to working with everybody. We look forward to serving this community, and I can answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Just before we get to questions, I did want to briefly touch on coyotes. Reiterate what I've said before, that the aggressive and overly habituated activity that we've been seeing is unacceptable by any measure. There is no truth, however, to rumors that have been circulating or letters to the editor that have appeared in the paper that the city has abandoned abatement as a means of control. The city is continuing to abate coyotes. There's been no policy decision otherwise. And in addition to that, we've been engaged in communications with both the California Fish and Wildlife Service and the United States Department of Agriculture, which is kind of the federal government equivalent, to make sure that our actions are following best practices and that we're doing what we can to curtail the aggressive and overly habituated activity. In addition to that, I want to thank residents who have been very, very good at reporting alleged instances of wildlife feeding. I would ask that continue. Our code enforcement officer and Laguna Beach Animal Services are following up on those complaints. We have had a number of individuals, after we've done some of that outreach, actually self-report and turn themselves in for wildlife feeding violations, which I also appreciate. I mean, it takes a lot to stand up and say, gosh, I didn't know that was something I shouldn't be doing and I won't do it again. And so our expanded wildlife feeding ordinance seems to be helping and seems to be getting the word out there. So if you or anyone you're aware of believes that a friend or a neighbor is feeding wildlife, no matter what that wildlife is, please do send it over to the city and we'll make sure we follow up on that. And with that, Captain Anderson and I are happy to answer any questions on any of these topics or anything else you'd like to talk to us about.
All right, I want to make 2 points. First, thank you, Chris, for being here, and thank you for bringing that up to par. And I'm sure they're really tired of hearing my name and my wife's name on the recorder. Captain Anderson, thank you for coming here. I know you've been making the rounds, and I'm sure you're really going to be glad when the rounds are over, when everybody hears you, but it's a pleasure to have you with us. And I think all of your deputies do a great job in the community. The numbers that we were looking at, are they citywide, or is this Laguna Woods Village?
It is. Those are citywide statistics.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good, good. Right. I have a hand up. Oh, Tony?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to say to Chris that I really enjoy the library over there and the little computer setup, so I want to acknowledge that and thank you for that.
Yeah, well, you're very welcome. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Sue, go ahead, please.
We want to work with you, Chris, on the coyote situation and whatever other issues you think that are important to our community. But I know that people are very, very frantic about this, myself included. And so thank you for working on that. And then I wanted to ask, I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name.
Yeah, Captain Ryan Anderson.
Mr. Captain Anderson. We have people who just occasionally fall, and they are supposed to call the fire station. Is that correct? Or how should they get assistance? Can you guys come and help them get up, or what is the program?
Yeah, so if we have somebody in the community who falls or who needs medical attention, they should call 911, right? Because they just don't know the extent necessarily. So I would say if the person believes that they had a bad fall or if they hit their head or something like that, they should call 911. And whether the deputies get there first or whether the OCFA gets there first, we're there for the patient, right? We're there for that member. So that's what I would encourage. If they think it is an emergency situation, I would definitely call 911.
Okay, thank you.
Terry?
That happened recently with my mother, and there is when you call 911, there is a fall assist number, and they just come right over it, they picked her up, put her in bed, and then they left. So it was cool. So fall assist, 911.
Any more questions? Thank you both very much. Really appreciate
Thank you,
your time.
appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go 6B, report from me. I'm going to keep it short because we do have a long day, both down here and upstairs. I do have a request that was made, and I'm going to put it out there for everybody to listen. Ting is trying to close up the end on United and with the installations. I know there's a couple directors here that are really involved with that. Phyllis is one, and helping us out getting the closure on the uninstalled. There's a few of those. But if you are listening and you do have an installation that has not taken place, I would like to say that if you'd please call area code 714-263-1826 to schedule an installation. It will really help. Like I said, we have directors helping, teams trying to help, but now we would really like your help out there to get this wound up so United is installed as almost complete. We want to get it complete so they can move on and go over to Third and finish that area. So your help would definitely be appreciated. I'm not going to go on right now. I think it's so nice to have a board, and I want to introduce somebody over here, way on the end there. Our newest board member, Terry, was elected last week, and welcome. The learning process is started, and this I want to tell everybody on the board that when we vote for things, whether it be on the board, electronically, or even putting our hands up and down, it is okay to abstain from a vote. If you're not sure of yourself, or if you have doubts on the understanding, we're here to make good decisions, and I don't want our decisions based on, well, I think I understand this and it's going to help. Okay, we want to make good, solid decisions. This board is doing really well at that. We have been doing very well. I'm proud to be part of this. You guys are running it. I'm just guiding the lines. So you're appreciated, and let's keep our thing going the way it is. Okay? Yes, Elsie?
Thank you for the nice words. Charlie, we like working with you too. Could you give that Ting, because that's really important, that Ting phone number again in case our listening audience didn't hear it?
Definitely. I wrote it really big so I can see it. It is area code 714-263-1826. Okay? And they would really like it. Like I said, they want to button up United so they can go on.
So if they're actually watching on TV right now, you can see on the screen that they have it up on display as well. Right here.
Oh, very good. It's not on it's not on my screen. Good. Thank you, Paul. All right. All right. Now, we're going to go with our open forum. I'm not going to cut down the time. I'm going to give everybody their 3 minutes. Okay? And right now it's an open forum to speak. Do we have anybody who wants to speak?
Yes, we have multiple speakers here today. First one is Juanita Skillman.
All right.
Good morning, everybody. Your library lady is here to give you your stats for the last month. Volunteers worked 669 hours supporting 1,920 residents in the library in May. Now, we were able to sign up 41 new residents into our circulation system. And as I've mentioned before, your resident card is your library card, but it needs to be registered into our computer before it can be used. So when I talk about putting new people in, that's what we're talking about. 2,212 items were circulated through our front desk, and that includes the things that are on the honor system. The honor system includes the puzzles, the paperbacks, the games, and now importantly, our children's section. And we just opened this week our new children's section. You need to come in and see it. It's beautiful. It's right up in front. And we have some nice little bean bags and children's size that they can sit and read while parents are getting their own books, etc. But I want to make a plea about honor system items, particularly puzzles and paperbacks. When you take them out, you know that you don't sign them out. We count them when they come back in. And that's how we know how they're used. And we write on them the date that they came back in. We use that so that we can tell how well used they are. But we have quite a few people, I'm sorry to say, who, because they don't sign them out in their name, feel, what the heck, and they drop them off at the drop-in lounge or their local laundry room, etc. That's not what the honor system means. It means it's your honor that you took them out, you bring them back where you got them. And it's really important that we get all of our, particularly our new puzzles and new things back to the library and don't have to go pick them up in other places. As I mentioned, our children's section is open, and I hope you'll at least come in and take a peek at it. It's right up front by the new books, and we're very proud of the new selection that we have from pre-kindergarten through teenage. So toddlers through teens, got visitors visiting you, bring them into the library. Thank you.
Thank you, Juanita. Did you have a question?
I have a quick question, Juanita. Yes. The honor system, does that apply to inside the library and outside the library? That section you have outside?
No. Outside the library on the patio is their little free library. Anything that's out there, the puzzles that are out there usually have one or two pieces missing, so we don't check them out with our regular ones. And we have books and paperbacks that have been in our lightly used for sale and not gone. So after a while, just to make room, we put them out there. That library is used 24/7. It's just constant. Put stuff out there and it's gone. Magazines, whatever. So whatever's out on the patio, you don't have to bring back.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we go next, silence your phones so we don't have to stop in a minute. Please, thank you. All right, Paul.
Okay, next speaker is Chris Collins.
Good morning, Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here with another update about the work that the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village does on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Good neighbors, they make life better every single day. A wave, a chat, picking up groceries, a shared meal, a block party. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's organized, but it always matters. In a world where connection can often mean a quick click or a comment, real face-to-face moments matter more than ever. That's why the Foundation of Laguna Woods is bringing back our Good Neighbor Project. This is for the third year, just in time for Good Neighbor Month, which is in September. So we're inviting village clubs to dream a little and do a lot. So what might this look like? Maybe a get-together to know your neighbors gathering, for a gathering, a cul-de-sac concert, a simple lunch or dinner, potluck hosted by neighbors, a community sing-along, a conversation bench, or a walking buddy group. The goal is simple, just to reach out to residents who may feel less connected and bring them in. Neighbors can be any village resident, not just those who live near you. And yes, we're here to help. Thanks to a special bequest, the Foundation of Laguna Woods expects to award up to $500 each to the village clubs selected to bring these ideas to life. A small investment and a big return makes a stronger village. in friendship, connection, and community spirit. So the details, the activities will happen between September and December of 2026, and any club that's a recreation village club may apply. The deadline for putting the proposal in is June 26th at 5 p.m. So you just fill out a short proposal and apply using a form, and then you submit it online. And then that's written down on the proposal. So any questions? The Foundation of Laguna, the Foundation LWV at Gmail or 949-268-2246. So let's make this year's effort the best yet, because when neighbors show up for each other, the whole village shines. I forgot to show my sign. Anyway, so yes, so we hope that a lot of people participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Next speaker is John Beckett.
All right, good morning, John.
Good morning, Mr. President. I'm here for the Good Government Club. Yesterday, the United Board voted to amend version 2 of next year's proposed budget. As you new directors might not know, that for the past few years, United has been borrowing from our reserve fund to pay the members' property taxes, and then borrowing from the property taxes to pay back the money we borrowed from the reserve fund. Yesterday, President Prater made a motion to add $10 to the 2027 reserve assessment. The board wisely voted to approve his motion. The Good Government Club has authorized me to read the following proclamation. Whereas the Good Government Club supports directors who exercise prudent fiscal management, and whereas the directors of the United Board voted to begin paying down our debt to United's reserve fund, and whereas the board's action will reduce further borrowing from the reserve fund, therefore be it resolved this 9th day of June 2026 that the members of the Good Government Club hereby express our gratitude to the directors of the United Board for making the difficult but necessary decision to strengthen United's reserve fund. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay, and next speaker is Elizabeth Barrett.
It's unfortunate that I'm here to speak to you all again. I have been approached out in the community by somebody from this management, from this group, to tell me to not make any more comments here and complaints on the about the issues that are going on. I was removed from my house in the middle of the night by security and taken out in my pajamas, and I was actually physically chased around my home, and that is not okay. Okay, that's elder abuse and it's retaliation, and then to have somebody out there following me and telling me that I should not make complaints about this is unacceptable. So I hold you accountable, and you are liable for elder abuse charges. I want that to stop, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any more, Paul?
A couple more. We have Cynthia Rupert on Zoom.
Oh, Cynthia. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's having a nice day. I have a question. I'm in 165A. I would like to know how we are going to address the situation with our new internet when some of our manors are not being covered by the 2,500 square foot, 1 unit assessment allotment that we are given for the router. We have situations where certain manors that have like plaster and certain configurations, it won't even get back to the back bed, won't get to the middle bathroom. It does great in the living room, and then that's about it. And this is not just on me, it is many people, almost everyone that's in this type of a manor is having this problem. The solution, I was told, was for me to go buy an extender. And while that would probably solve the problem, I don't know that. And two, I am questioning why is it that I have to spend an additional $60, $80 to buy an extender when my understanding was that when we installed Ting, it would take care of that situation. I just wanted to bring this before the board because I'm concerned that a big group of us, and I have lots of addresses I can send to you guys, are having the same situation. And I really do think the board needs to address it or push it to GRF, wherever it needs to go. But it's not just me, it is everybody in this type of manner, and they're having all the same problems. So please address this some way and let me know at some point what we can do to make this right for the residents. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to answer this right now instead of waiting till the end because it's fresh on my brain. To let you know that I was approached, I want to say yesterday or the day before, by a resident who's having this same problem where they're getting the 1,000+ signals in the front and in the back of the room. It's less than 100. It's just dead. So working with their computer in the back room and all the other devices is almost non-existent. They did call Ting, okay? And Ting had them try a couple things. But what Ting has done, and I'm going to try to stay on top of this, is Ting has made an appointment to come out and evaluate the situation to see what's going on. So that's happening, and I like you said, you're having the same problem. I agree, we shouldn't have to go out and spend money to boost the system that we're going to be paying what we're paying. I'm speaking as a resident in this system. And if Ting honors this and goes through and checks this out in this style that they're doing now, that is going to be acceptable. But I will monitor this real good, and we'll get back to everybody on it.
And can I bring up
I
one
think
more thing?
Siobhan
And
has.
again, this is a GRF matter, so we'll refer it to GRF
Okay.
and staff as well.
It is a GR
That's
problem,
just- yes.
but I'm still going to be on top of this
No, I
too.
understand. We don't.
Yeah.
And I have one more thing I wanted to say about this situation. And again, I know this is kind of hindsight, but I'm hearing from so many different communities around us and cities around us that quite honestly are having this done for them and they're not paying for it. And I'm speaking as a resident here, please know that. Many of the towns around us and the cities around us, there's a company going around installing it for those cities without any charge for the installation of fiber, and they are getting the contract for the residents, and that's their payback. I'm just questioning did we look into that? Had we looked into it? I'm throwing that out there.
Okay,
Thank
and one other note, GRF just happens to have a meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in this building. So I'm sure that
I was just hoping, the United Board could kind of push this and keep on it and make sure something really gets done by.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
So we have one more. It's going to be an email. So give me 1 second. This is from Teresa Frost. I am writing to provide an updated perspective regarding the coyote situation in Laguna Woods Village. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Regarding what?
The coyotes.
Coyotes.
Yeah.
Coyotes, thank you.
As many of you know, I was deeply concerned by the coyote abatement efforts that occurred previously. After living through both the period immediately following the abatement and the subsequent return of significant coyote activity, I believe it is important to share what many residents are currently experiencing. I have lived on the slope for the past 10 years. During this time, coyote activity has always been part of our life in our community. However, I have observed changes in our coyote behavior that concern me. Whether the actual population has increased or not, my experience has been that encounters with coyotes are more frequent and that some animals appear significantly more comfortable around people than in the past. While coyote activity has already been a concern before the abatement, many residents, including myself, have observed many frequent encounters and increasing boldness in coyote behavior. Encounters that once seemed occasional now appear more common, and some coyotes appear increasingly comfortable occupying residential spaces and remaining in close proximity to people. The issue extends beyond the sightings The greatest impact is the constant vigilance many residents now feel in their daily lives. This is not a situation where residents can simply avoid certain trails, parks, or isolated open spaces. In many parts of Laguna Woods Village, coyotes are present in the same residential spaces where people walk and take pets outside. Coyotes are regularly seen on sidewalks, between buildings, in greenbelts, and near front doors. Residents encounter them during ordinary daily activities, not only in designated wildlife areas. What concerns me most is that the hypervigilance is becoming normalized. A walk with a dog should be relaxing. Neighbors should be able to enjoy outdoor spaces without constantly scanning for wildlife activity. When residents feel compelled to remain on guard whenever they step outside, quality of life is affected even when no attacks occurs. As a dog owner, I personally experience the stress that comes with the reality. Each time I take my dogs outside, I find myself scanning the area, remaining alert, and evaluating potential risk. Conversations with neighbors suggest that many residents are experiencing the same thing. The concern is not limited to pet owners. Residents walking alone, exercising, visiting neighbors, or simply enjoying the outdoors are increasingly aware of coyote activity around them. What has come clear to me is that the issue cannot be solved through a single action, whether the action is abatement or inaction. The village needs a long-term management strategy that addresses the root cause of habituation and reduces conflict between the residents and wildlife. And looks time is up, unfortunately.
All right, thank you. All right, any more? We're up.
That is it.
Thank you. Right now, do we have any responses to any of the requests right at the moment? Okay. Let's go on to 8B. We have April and May forum speakers. Kathy, do you have that?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Okay, so from April 14th, the responses, Anna Marie Winters, 56S. Miss Winters recently purchased a 21-foot RV and has requested permission to park it in front of her residence as it is currently her only vehicle. Staff member Eric Nunez reached out directly to Ms. Winters. The other issue, she has also raised concerns regarding repairs and permit processing associated with her property improvements, including her alteration submission and the architectural alteration approval process. Director Lipitori recommended that she attend the next architectural control meeting to obtain clarification on her request. Janet Johnson, 697C, concerns regarding residents disposing of old paint cans in trash receptacles, provided information on proper disposal locations. Siobhan, sorry, I was going to call you Ms. Foster, and it says Siobhan, confirmed that the county paint disposal site closure has been extended for 1 year and remains available for residents. A suggested drop-off option is Dunn Edwards Paint Store. The closest one's in Irvine. For May the 12th, 2026, William Mueller, 335C. His issue, Mr. Mueller expressed concerns regarding excessive construction noise related to reconstruction work in his building. He stated the noise was so intense that he had to leave the building. Mr. Mueller advised he contacted the alterations department and was informed construction activity is permitted between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. He also contacted the compliance department and was referred to security. Mr. Mueller requested that the HOA inspect the building. The outcome, Siobhan advised that the appropriate staff members would reach out to him to work toward a resolution. Per Security Division, Mr. Mueller was contacted on May the 12th, 2026, and an incident report was taken. Farad Bakhsh, Shenedin. I'm sorry, I apologize for destroying your name. He lives at 905A. He spoke regarding issues involving his property. As he rents his unit to a 91-year-old tenant, she reported that the toilet was not flushing and was backing up. A maintenance ticket was issued. He raised concerns regarding maintenance-related damages and requests clarification on what legal protections are available for damage and injuries that were not his fault or within his control. Whether the co-op has legal representation, who is responsible for the financial losses, and what measures will be taken to ensure the issue does not occur again. Per maintenance and construction, repairs are scheduled to start Friday, May the 29th, and should be completed by Friday, June the 5th. Following repairs, we will offer the opportunity of a meet and confer with the executive board, with the executive members hearing. The GM's office will follow up with Mr. 6905A to ensure the work has been completed. Roberta Burke, 933B. Ms. Burke spoke about transient activity in her area by the creek last night. She spoke about the need to have the creek gate repaired for lighting. Security contacted Mrs. Burke on May the 12th, 2026, and provided an update as part of ongoing patrol operations. Security staff have been utilizing the department's drone to monitor the creek and surrounding areas. Officers also inspected the creek access gate and confirmed that it is secure and functioning properly. Regarding the request for additional lighting, the matter was previously evaluated by the United Maintenance and Construction Committee. The board denied the appeal on March the 11th, 2025, pursuant to Resolution 01-24-31. And that is the end of the comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Moving right along, now we have the CEO report. Welcome, Safan.
Thank you, Honorable President, members of the board. I'll try to be brief, and I know you borrowed some of my material already, as did the city manager, so that'll make it even briefer. I'd like to begin by introducing some new offerings for our residents. Our Manor Alterations Division is seeking to better assist residents embarking on remodeling projects and other renovations. They are doing this with short, easy-to-follow videos that answer frequently asked questions, such as where to begin, what might be required for your project, and so on. To date, available videos include Welcome to Manor Alterations and the Manor Alterations resale inspection process. To view the new videos, visit lagunawoodsvillage.com. Services, Manor Alterations. Excuse me. Also upcoming is the Manor Alterations Town Hall meeting. I'm going to take another sip.
Take your time.
Also upcoming is the Manor Alterations Town Hall meeting presented by the VMS in the city. Here you can learn about updates to permit processing, flooring, accessibility, and more. The town hall is Friday, June 19th from 9 a.m. to noon in Clubhouse 5. Our communications team is going out to the community to help educate residents about information resources available to them. These are through our communication pop-ups.
Excuse me. Would you like to take a minute? Because you have a good voice and you're really good at this. I'm going to go through number 10 real quick here, because I want to hear your presentation. So we're going to go to 10 right now, the consult calendar. All the matters listed in the consult calendar are recommended for action by committee and will be enacted by the board of one motion. In the event that an item is removed from the consult calendar by members of the board, such items shall be the subject of further discussion and action by the board. May I get a motion to approve the consent calendar? There's a motion, here's a second. Okay, any discussion about any of the things on it? None? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you, the motion's passed. All right, okay?
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
good.
So I'd like to start with the Manor Renovations Town Hall slide, please. So our Manor Alterations Division is collaborating with the city to bring information to our community. Here you can learn about, again, permit processing, flooring, and much more. And the town hall is Friday, June 19th, from 9 a.m. to noon at Clubhouse 5. Our communications team is launching a new endeavor as well, and you might have seen them at some recent events. And these are called the communications pop-ups. They're trying to help reach out to residents to educate them about what information resources are available to them. So staff goes to key events in the community and brings a laptop to demonstrate the website, show folks how to enroll in things such as What's Up in the Village. They have copies of the Village Breeze, all sorts of information about Ting, how to enroll in Everbridge, and so forth. So we're really excited about this new endeavor that's been well received by our community so far. And the dates for the next opportunity to meet our communications team are on the screen before you. The next event is Tuesday, July 28th at Clubhouse 4, and our communications team will be there between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. And then the rest of the dates for their pop-ups are shown on the screen before you. Next, I'd like to draw your attention to the upcoming workshop sponsored by Social Services. It's called Coping with the Emotions of Caregiving. Understanding that there are a lot of emotions involved in caregiving, our group thought that this would be a beneficial topic to cover for our residents. This will take place on Wednesday, June 24th at 2 o'clock in Clubhouse 7. The presentation will offer practical ways to cope with and manage difficult emotions associated with caregiving. Our security staff, to kind of follow up on what the city manager and Mr. Anderson talked about this morning, is focusing on disaster preparedness. On May 20th, security hosted a tabletop exercise with the Sheriff's Department, Orange County Fire Authority, and the Orange County Operational Area Emergency Services Manager. And the exercise topic was to facilitate the evacuation of 2 zones within the village due to a fire originating at Highway 133 in Laguna Beach. The focus was how to collaborate to safely evacuate 2,000 plus residents. And we focused on how to access and deploy available resources, establish priorities, track resources and civilians, and utilize volunteers during such an event. And they identified any communications concerns that they experienced during the tabletop exercise. So our staff will continue to train with our available community partners to make sure we're ready for the next disaster. We also want to remind residents of the importance of reporting coyotes, as President Prater touched on. Reporting is critical to coyote mitigation. We encourage you to use the non-emergency coyote hotline, which is shown on the screen before you, at 949-639-0501, and to leave a message. You can also email coyotes@lagunabeachcity.net, and using the hotline keeps Laguna Beach Dispatch available for emergencies while capturing the important wildlife activity. And what this information is used to is to target coyote prevention activities. And on the next slide, the city is expanding its coyote hazing activities. They find that this is one way to scare coyotes and help keep them away from people and residents. They're going to be using an experienced contractor to provide non-lethal coyote hazing services, and they do this using compressed air guns, which are white in color, so they're distinguishable from regular firearms, and they shoot water pellets at the coyotes to scare them away from key areas in our community. This service will be provided between 7 and 10 a.m. in the mornings. This is a key activity time for coyotes in our community. And it's intended to increase the frequency of enhanced hazing as a regular implementation is considered most effective. So the more they haze the coyotes, the thought is that that keeps them away from our more populated areas. And as President Prater also mentioned, it's important that our residents reach out to the telephone number on the screen, 714-263-1826, if you reside in gates 1 through 6, because you are eligible to schedule your installation of Ting. So again, please reach out if you have not already received your Ting installation and you live in these areas. And that concludes my update this morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to regroup.
Thank you very much. All right. We did the consent calendar, and thank you for that support. Okay. All right, we are now go to number 11, unfinished business. We have a disciplinary update report, and she's not here today. She's in training. Both of them are in training today.
Is there something she sent?
No.
No, okay.
So we'll see her next month?
Yeah, we'll see you next. I mean, you guys can quickly review that report, but other than that, if you have any questions, we can relay that back to Francis and Basilda.
Okay. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna go on.
Oops.
That was mine.
Your one was.
Yeah. Falling apart. All right. Town halls. Oh, the town hall, this coming Friday. This is a good subject. We would like to let you know that this coming Friday from 2 to 4 at the PAC Center, our treasurer, Ramon, and other board members will be there, and we will be discussing the coming budget. Okay. Everyone's welcome. We want to show you the path we're going to and listen to your suggestions in case you have something that we have overlooked. That will be this coming Friday from 2 to 4 in the PAC Center. Did you want to say something about it or go with what we got?
No, Mr. President, you said it well. We will just provide an overview of how we did in 25, how we're doing in 26, and the major themes in 27 and how they're going to impact our budget. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. All right, town halls. Oh, we have something off 28. Okay, now we need a motion to approve the damage and restoration policy and related documents. They were initiated in May. They're now met the 28-day notification for member review. So if we can have a motion for that.
Maggie reads it.
Oh, Maggie, you want to read that motion?
Okay.
She's going to get it here. Thank you. We'll do that. Then we'll get the motion, and then we'll have discussion.
All right. Revised damage restoration policy, resolution 0126XX. Whereas United Mutual is a common interest development governing by its occupancy agreement and applicable provisions of the California Civil Code, Davis-Sterling Common Interest Development Act, and whereas Article 11 of the occupancy agreement assigns maintenance, repair, and replacement responsibilities between the mutual and members, and whereas the current damage restoration policy was intended to define mutual responsibilities for common area maintenance and member responsibility for alterations, and whereas the policy no longer adequately provides a clear or comprehensive delineation of responsibilities between the mutual and the member, whereas such lack of clarity has resulted in, among other issues, denial of coverage by homeowners' insurance carriers and adverse outcomes in small claims proceedings, and whereas the Board of Directors finds it necessary to clarify and reaffirm the allocation of responsibility in a manner that is consistent, uniform, and enforceable. And whereas the Board of Directors has determined that an updated and comprehensive damage restoration policy is needed to reduce legal and financial risk and fully establish that members are responsible for the repair and/or replacement of upgrades, redecoration, and improvements within their units, and further provides that members are responsible for damage caused to mutual controlled property by such changes. Now therefore be it resolved on June 9th, 2026, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the attached revised damage restoration policy and resolution to establish a clear and consistent policy governing responsibility for maintenance, repair, replacement, and damage restoration within mutual properties, and resolve further that Resolution 010675, adopted August 8, 2006, is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move this resolution.
Do we have a second?
I second
By
it.
Phyllis. Oh, and then now we can have discussion.
I see, Mr. President, under financial analysis, it says none. I would like to know, does none mean that the impact of this change is immaterial, i.e. will not reduce our non-chargeable costs, or will it? And if so, does none just mean that staff did not perform the analysis?
Lori's here to address
page?
that question.
Oh, there she is, right there.
Good morning, President
there we
Prater and
Good morning.
esteemed members of the board. The reason that says none is there was this policy already exists, and the language in the proposed resolution is just to provide clarification. We do hope that it will minimize any losses in court, but that's an unknown dollar amount. So there isn't a real financial analysis that can be made. This is just to clarify the language so members and staff and board members know exactly who's responsible for what.
So you're saying the amended procedures were used in 2025, for example, and are used today?
I'm sorry, the what? The amended procedures? So this policy currently exists, like I said, and we do use it and the language. So if we go to small claims court, they want to know what the mutual's governing document says, whether it is your occupancy agreement or the damage restoration policy. And the courts have found that some of the language is vague, and it might say someone's responsible for a certain type of leak or damage to their property. But what if that damage is caused by the mutual's pipes? They think that the mutual should pay for their damaged property. But that is not what your governing documents say. It's just not spelled out enough, clear enough for the courts to make a decision or for the members to understand.
So none means that there's no financial impact.
There isn't a financial impact, no, for this new proposal, no.
Thank you.
Any other questions while she's here? No more questions? All right. On the screen, we get to vote. We have one more. Oh, Tony's trying to. There he goes. They got it. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we did that. Now we can get to D, review and discussion for Standard 9, Section 4. And Tony, you have something you'd like to say?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just, to try to get away from the vitriol that existed around this, I just like to have the board to authorize to consult with a qualified acoustical engineer at approximately $150 to $300 per hour to review, document, to determine if Standard 9 is feasible, and if it is not, ask for advice about how to determine what AIIC rating is realistically achievable. Thank you, sir.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
President, if you will go to item 13B, which is the minutes of the Architectural and Standards Committee meeting, it says under D, United Board approval for flooring sound performance testing. A motion was made that the United Board approve the engagement of an accredited acoustical engineer to conduct field testing on various flooring and underlayment combinations within the United building. The purpose of this is to establish standardized sound performance specifications, blah, blah, blah. This testing would provide verifiable engineering data identifying the most effective combinations for reducing impacted noise. Existing hard flooring installations will be grandfathered in the motion. The motion was approved by a vote of 2 to 1 to 0, with Director Mitchell opposed. So this really should have come forward in a resolution that this be looked at and then go forward with it. I think it was just an oversight. This was something that the committee voted on. They approved it. I think Tony is probably looking for no more than 2-3 hours of this person's time. You tell us, Tony, this is your motion, but to put, a dollar limit around it.
Okay.
And then just let it go. Let them come back and report it, and we can be done with this topic and not have it go back and forth and back and forth.
Okay. Siobhan has something first?
I would like Alan to be able to address this at some point as well. Thank you.
Of course.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So to clarify, item 11E actually is on the agenda and is the topic that Chairman Liberatore addressed earlier. So it was already on the agenda. So items 11D and E all have to do with potential review and revisions to the standard 9, the flooring standard. So, and you are correct, that was voted on at the last ACSC meeting and did pass by a 2-to-1 margin. Staff's response was to prepare a draft report for forwarding to the full board. That report didn't quite make all the necessary clearances to appear on the agenda this morning. So that's the clarification. So it did pass and was intended to be presented this morning. But because of the last minute clarifications or changes or requests for clarifications, it was decided that it should be for this meeting and a discussion item only. But staff remains open and available to whatever direction the board requests. And I'm ready to answer any questions regarding that.
Thank you. Elsie, did you have a question?
Yeah, this is not my field.
No,
I have no dog in this fight. However, I hear that there's some kind of sound engineers. I mean, well, of course there's sound engineers. But So are you guys, that just hid behind my paperclip. I can't believe that was on there. So is acoustic engineering services, are those capitals just for emphasis, or is that a company?
No, there's no specific company mentioned in this. There is a recommendation that was discussed at the last ACSC meeting. But I'm being told procedurally that this request should really go before the Maintenance and Construction Committee and be directed and for staff to provide a report and background to that. Then the Financial Committee, because of potential cost expenditures, would need to review it as well. So that all added to the last minute back and forth that resulted in a staff or discussion item.
Well, it seems pretty straightforward to me. If the people who are requesting this, if everybody knows what they're talking about, because without the engineering report or his analysis of that, his analysis of the standard, right? That's what we're talking about? Come on, help me here, Anthony.
Okay.
So, I mean, nod, is it?
Okay, yeah, okay. Let me, I want a
So we wouldn't
clarity,
have
because I
to,
think
we
you're.
wouldn't have to go to finance, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Without the report.
Right.
And I don't think we need to go to M&C without the report.
I don't think we do either.
Thank you.
Let me ask, Alan, so right now, there is no outside source being asked to evaluate, is that true?
Staff has not.
Staff has not.
There's only been a request from the
Okay, we have a
ACSC
request.
committee.
Okay. I have, Tony, go ahead.
Well, I just keep it kind of simple. We're just asking
Right.
for that to be done.
That's what I'm trying to get this down to, real quick and simple. Phyllis, please.
Three things. The first thing is, this item was brought up to the Architectural Standards Committee in February and voted down. It was then brought up again in May when there were different people on the committee. The second thing is, we have a Standard 9 that covers all of this, including the sound that we're talking about, and it includes a grievance procedure that is quite detailed for residents who live in a bottom manor and are having issues with noise coming from their upstairs neighbor, and that it does not start with doing a sound engineer test first. That is the last step of the process. The third thing I'd like to say is I would like to see the Architectural Committee do a root cause analysis first before asking to spend United's money. And by a root cause analysis, I mean go back to compliance, go back over the last 2 years of residents who have used this process and find out what the root cause of the issues ended up being.
Okay. Tony?
I'd like to correct one thing. Thank you, Mr. President. We do not have a grievance process here. We have a meet and confer, which is not a grievance process, and we have an IDR. Those are not grievance. There is a process called grievance that I had my last 23 years. There is a process called a grievance process, and there's 6 elements to a grievance process. It doesn't exist here. Thank you.
Okay. So I guess what we need. Elsie, you have a hand up?
This doesn't seem real complicated. This has been going on. I personally am really sick of hearing about Standard 9. But I know a lot of people are not sick of hearing about Standard 9. And anyway, it seems simple enough to get an engineer to look at it, and then that should be it.
Okay. So I guess what we need to do, and Alan, do you want to say something?
If I may.
Please.
Because it has been going on
too long.
This standard became active over a year ago. So one, the standard is an improvement over the prior standard. It clarifies the process. It requires a new underlayment feature. It requires registration with the office. So overall, this standard is effective and working and meets the requirements based on state guidelines, based on 2 acoustic engineer reports that have previously been done in this community. So is the new standard doable? Yes, it is doable. But based on that, I am, as a representative of Manor Alterations, completely comfortable and stand behind the current standard. Because we have two prior acoustic reports, staff feels that to add another acoustic test is not required. However, saying that, there have been concerns that continually are raised that the current standard cannot be met. And that is primarily because we don't have any current acoustic testings for the floor-to-ceiling assemblies, which are vital to a test. Those testings that we have and were the basis of this current standard were done over 20 years ago. So I am not opposed if the board or the ACS committee directs that we have a new testing done if you want to evaluate current standards or current conditions. But know that the existing standards or the existing policy is meetable, it is doable. And as Director Addington suggested, maybe you simply go ahead and get another current acoustic test done, or have a new current authorized engineer in this field come in and do a presentation. That would require a monetary expense on behalf of the board, but know that if that's the direction the board would like to go or the ACSC committee would like to go, we're not opposed to that.
Maggie, you have a hand up?
Yes, okay. The intent of the people against our policy, our current policy, which was strengthened in June of this year, it added an extra layer of soundproofing. So, but the intent of the people who are against the new policy and the old policy and any flooring and not carpeting above means that a whole bunch of people upon resale would be required to remove their hardwood flooring and put in carpeting. That is the aim of the people. And that is not what United has. United has soundproofing testing and rules. Thank you.
I find that offensive. We have said this over and over again, and it's been in every motion that has gone forward, that floors would be grandfathered and that we would go forward with whatever policy is put forward. So to say that they're just trying to make it go back to people will have to expend funds to put carpet in, that is not true. That has never been in that proposal. And so, and it's not in the proposal he just read. So what they are trying to do is to ask for a small amount of money to have somebody come in and see if this policy is meetable, is doable. What several of us wanted was that we had no objections to it. We thought it was great that you were trying to improve the sound policy. That's commendable and would be very helpful to people. What we had objection to is that there was no inspection policy. So this was Scout's honor. you would go in and say, I am putting this flooring in, and I will say that I did that. And then who knows if they did or did not, because it's self-reporting. So that's the concern. So I just think if it would put this to bed to say no more than $1,000 will be spent on this, what is the harm? There are many people who are concerned on this, about the sound. It seems like a very small thing that we could do.
Phyllis?
If we go ahead with this, this isn't going to put this to bed. This is going to open up a can of worms. And I have one question, Alan. When someone comes to alterations and says, I want to put in a new floor, what are the qualifications that that flooring needs to have?
So to add context to that, previous to this current standard, there were no requirements of registration, no requirements of notification, no mutual consents. There was simply nothing. So we had no way to track what was being put in or not put in. The current standard actually upgrades that to require a registration of what a member is putting in. That registration form then includes detailed specifications of the underlayment and detailed specifications of the finished floor. That does go on record if and when there is an incident, or if or when it is ever challenged, then we go back to the record of what was put in. And the member that put that flooring in, either if tested, needs to meet the new requirements or not. That's an upgrade from having no accountability to now limited accountability. Further, to answer that issue, is originally this was passed with a mutual consent. A mutual consent would have required a plan check process and a final inspection. We felt, considering the frequency of this, that was too drastic of a step to take at this time, so we introduced a resolution to have it downgraded to a simple registration. So that is an improvement over being no accountable at all. Anytime you make a change, people are uncomfortable with that change. Trying to simply make people aware that there is a now registration requirement for flooring, that's a big deal. So we're trying to ease into this standard.
Okay. All right, I believe we have two.
Excuse me,
I'm
I've
sorry.
had my hand up.
I'm sorry, Kathy.
Okay, thank you. I go along with what Tony is talking about. I understand what Phyllis is also saying, but my neighbors, who one lady lives downstairs and one up, it literally almost came to blows because the noise is so bad. And in 3 of my upstairs people who have hardwood floors, the neighbors below do complain. They have called security, and security comes out and basically says there's nothing they can do. And so they just drop it. But the anxiety that is in my little complex is so high because of the upstairs noise for the hardwood floors. And sometimes they'll put down rugs, but the rugs are like this thin. So I don't see any problem in doing an acoustical testing to have that in the guidelines, so that if people do really want to follow through with the expense of doing a sound testing, we have data to back it up to say one way or the other. So if a motion needs to be made, I'll make that motion. But if not, I think it's a good idea to have that testing done.
Do you have $1 limit?
Well, we can, yeah, let's wait, yeah. Okay. Paul, I think we have two.
Yes, first person is Tony Mandel.
She has no one above her.
hard flooring here, that's here, stays.
Would you speak to the microphone, please?
We gotta hear you.
The hard surface flooring that's here stays. Okay. I will when I speak. Standard 9 is flawed. And the reason it's flawed is because they came up with a number without doing a field test. The term AIIC means Apparent Impact Isolation Class, and it is only determined with a field test. VMS did not do a field test, and 57, according to engineer reports, is not attainable. You all had in your box the mistakes that VMS has made. They're using an invalid number because no field test was done. There's no way to know if 57 is reachable just by adding up the numbers of the components. That is not an accepted way to determine an AIIC or an FIIC. Those require an on-site field test. They're saying that the engineers' reports that have been done, aside from TWE-SIT's engineers' report saying it's not going to be met, which is an expert, bona fide engineer saying Standard 9 does not work. The field tests that have been done in the past all failed code unless area rugs were added. The field test that was done in 2019, where the numbers went from September in the 40s to September of 2019 to July of 2020, where the numbers were all above. They were 65, 52, 50. All required area rugs to be installed before those high numbers were achieved. We have to know exactly what our assemblies can do when you make these alterations and try to find the best way to get the best attenuation. That is a field test with patches. If you decide not to do that, I recommend that this board by itself consult an acoustical engineer and show them the documents of Standard 9 plus TWE-SIT's desk-based assessment to see if Standard 9 is workable at all.
Thank you.
Okay, Richard Rader.
Good morning, Nick.
I'm making my comments for you all to know I live on the bottom floor, and I do have sound problems, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here about the process. And at a prior meeting, I heard Director Mitchell go into greater depth about the process that people have available to them. And I'd like her, if she would, to tell us more about that committee. And number one, how many people are coming to that committee? How many of the issues have been resolved through the process that you use in that committee? And how were they resolved? Because I think that's very important to know. And the last thing, with regard to the neighbors of Director Barada, after we hear what I've just requested, it might be interesting to know whether her neighbors have taken advantage of that committee.
Thank you, Dick. Actually, Tony, you had your 3 minutes, and right now we're going to keep it going.
Can we hear
Okay.
from?
No, we have to keep going. Phyllis, did you have something to add at this time? I know there's a request for some explanation. You're probably not really ready to go down that road.
I have read through all of Standard 9 beginning to end. I have met with compliance to find out how many people have taken advantage of this, what have the results been. The overwhelming majority are resolved before they ever even get to a sound test.
All right.
And I believe I was at one meeting where I don't know if it was Alan or not who said that there have only been 3 cases in 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was first over here?
I think Tony.
Tony?
Thank you, Mr. We just heard that, and I've heard this repeated, the fallacy of insufficient instances. Alan said there's been 2 people. We have heard here from the audience and from here, at least 10 people get up. So that there's only been 2 incidents report is a fallacy of insufficient instances. And another thing that nobody's talking about is that whole section of 4.6 is verbatim out of third, and it does not relate to the fact that we live in a co-op. Thank you.
I think Kathy was next.
Point of order.
Point of order?
Point of order, and that takes precedence. We should be discussing a motion. We should not be just going back and forth. And Kathy started to try to make a motion. I don't know if that was a complete motion, if it was seconded, but we're just kind of doing a round robin. And I think we should go back to a motion, a second, a vote.
Okay, I'll tell you, that's where we will do the motion. We will
Yes,
get the
I'll
second,
make
and I want Phyllis to have one more statement.
Sure.
So your motion, would you like to read your motion?
So my motion is to get an acoustical engineer to come and to actually do a current sound testing so that we can have all of that information in our records for the Standard 9, so that when people do get up the courage to follow through and put in a complaint, we can have the information available to them.
Do you have a dollar amount? Do you have a dollar amount?
So sorry, I apologize. Quick clarification. So on the agenda, the next item is authorize staff to prepare the scope of work for acoustic engineering services to assess sound transmission between floors. So the very next item is.
I understand that, but I thought when, in the beginning, we talked about it, that we, because of the small dollar amount, say, as Director Quam had said, not to exceed maybe $1,000 if it's between $150 and $300 an hour, to simply proceed with the motion and the vote rather than going through this other process that will take another month or so. That was what I thought I heard in the beginning.
Alan?
Staff is okay with combining the 2 D and E. I think that's what we're doing anyway.
Okay.
So if you make the motion and it goes one way or another, we can disregard E, considering it being included in D already.
Okay, thank you. Elsie?
Thank you, Chairman. Kathy, that was a really great motion, except I believe, and Anthony, you'll have to confirm this, that the request was for a sound engineer to look at the written Standard 9 to see if it was even feasible. To Anthony, is that not right? I just don't want us to vote for the wrong thing.
I'm confused as well. I'm confused.
Well,
It's
how
okay,
about
we're
Tony?
going to straighten it out.
Because she made a motion, right, but I had made a motion before that, right, so I'm confused.
Okay, I tell you, where are we on the motions right now? Can we get,
So the initial motion was Anthony's proposal.
okay,
That wasn't voted on yet. Then Director Bravati made another motion. But then, again, we were trying to combine both D and E to one motion.
Right.
So that's where the confusion is. So there's multiple motions on the floor right now.
we need to get a declarative on this motion.
So do we want to just do one motion, and retract both motions, just do one motion and
Clarify
get staff
that,
to,
yes.
get a scope of work on the acoustic engineering services to assess the sound transmission between floors?
She needs to withdraw her motion.
Okay, you need to withdraw your motion, Kathy? We're going to get this down to one.
You want me to do what?
I have this.
Withdraw.
I know, but this is.
Withdraw mine? Aw, okay.
Hour or so to find who needs to-
Reluctantly.
Thank you, Kathy. Wait a minute. Phyllis, did you have a comment?
I wanted to clarify. I met with compliance. Several people do go to compliance every month and use the Standard 9 grievance policy, and it does say in Standard 9, grievance policy. They very rarely get to the point of doing a sound check, and I believe if I remember right, that there have been 3 instances in 20 years where the issue has been the flooring.
Okay.
Let's-
Let's go ahead, let's get this going.
Real quick, my neighbors won't follow through because they don't want to incur any expense and they don't want any more anger between our neighbors. So they're dropping it. It's not resolved. I mean, you're saying it's resolved. A lot of them are not resolved. They just give up.
Go ahead, real quick.
So if residents do not want to use the policies and procedures that we have, how will what we're talking about here change that?
Okay, all right. So we have an emotion on here. We have a motion. Is that correct, Paul?
Fine, please. We have initial motion with Nancy's proposal from the beginning, and I think Sue seconded it. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
And then, let me see it.
I only have one eye, that's what makes it so bold.
Okay. Okay, his motion was, I propose to amend the agenda to include in new business the following. The board authorized to consult with a qualified acoustical engineer at approximately $150 to $300 per hour to review the document to determine if Standard 9 is feasible, and if not, ask for advice about how to determine what AIIC rating is realistically achievable. So that's been moved. I would offer an amendment that we add that the staff prepare the scope of work for acoustical engineering services to assess sound transmission between floors. So we merge this all into one, and then they could get a dollar amount to us, because this is not, we don't want this open-ended.
Great.
Does that work?
Well, can we put there not to exceed an amount?
Well, I think he has to do the
Let's hear
scope
it
of
from
work.
Alan.
Alan?
At this point, I'm looking for clarification. Staff is more than willing to do whatever the board decides, but I've heard 3 different specific issues. So I would ask you to clarify which issues that you want staff to research, or all 3, and then specifically record those 3 requirements so we know what to do going forward.
Okay.
Well, I thought, since his motion was to get this, and you want to prepare a scope of work for this person, this individual or company, that those would merge together. Is that problematic for you?
Sue, the confusion is, what is the heart of the matter? Is it to have someone review the standard to see if it's achievable? Or is there something else that is desired?
I think it's just to see if they're achievable, is that correct?
Exactly.
Just to
Get a
see if they're
professional
achievable.
opinion.
Okay, well, that makes it clear. It does. We just want to get an
So
evaluation.
then that's what was originally listed then in Director Liberatore's motion. So
Okay.
we don't need to amend it any further if we just leave it as is.
Okay?
Okay.
We don't need a second.
It's already been seconded.
Can we hear from Alan and make sure?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you want staff to prepare a report that addresses the issue of, is Standard 9 achievable?
No.
Is that
No.
We need a scope of work.
to prepare a scope of work?
And an outside engineer can determine if Standard 9 is feasible.
So the motion reads to consult with a qualified acoustical engineer at approximately $150 to $300 per hour to review and determine if Standard 9 is feasible, and if not, advise how to determine what AIIC rating is realistically achievable.
Okay.
So do you want staff to
Yeah, and
search, hiring,
not
and
to exceed, amendment to that would be not to exceed a dollar amount of $1,000.
That's fine. I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion
Wait,
is,
wait.
are we ready to?
So-
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. To be clear, you want staff to prepare a report,
A scope of work,
a scope of work, sorry, that addresses the issue. One, is Standard 9 achievable? Is that what we're,
For an outsider to come in.
For an outside
It says right
to
what it
look at
says.
standard 9. That's what it says.
and then
That's what
when
it says.
we solicit those bids from acoustic engineers, that is the scope of work that we will provide. Can you do this scope of work, come in and assess the standard for achievability?
Correct.
Correct.
And what would it cost, I guess?
Okay.
All right.
As long as, are there any other concerns or issues to be addressed in this?
Are you sure you want to limit it to a not to exceed amount of $1,000? It's premature, I think,
Okay.
to
We
don't know.
do that.
Let's leave it out.
Okay, we'll leave the dollar amount
Let's leave
out?
the dollar amount
Okay,
out.
I
We'll come
withdraw
back to
that.
us.
We can do a report, and then with that report, the dollar amounts will be presented, and then the board or ACSC committee, I'm not quite sure procedurally how this works. If it goes back to the ACSC committee, if it goes to maintenance and construction.
I think it goes back to the ACS committee.
Okay.
And they get it ready, and then it comes here as a final request or whatever we're
When
going
the
to need.
report is done.
Okay? We don't need to debate this on,
Doing a report, just a scope of work.
Yes.
Yes.
So we will go to a number of acoustic engineers, give them the request or issue, let them know the scope of work that we're looking to have them consult on, and then get their responses and prepare that in a report, and we'll present that at the next ACSC meeting.
okay, thank you. Terry, did you have one quick question?
I think we're going back to combining the motions again, because the first motion was the scope of what, for him to do the report. The second motion was to do a scope, which is really just preparing what the proposal looks like. And I think what you just said is to do that and go to those people. I don't think we're doing that second part. And that's where the $1,000 comes in, is the concern of only 1,000. That's just to do the report. That's not to do the work. That's just to do the report. Was that correct?
Not exactly.
Okay, all right.
No, that's okay. No, this is going to.
So, if I may, what staff will do is they will take the request that has been presented here this morning, contact several acoustic engineers, get their responses, get their fee schedules, and then come back
Great.
with that full report to the ACSC committee.
Yes.
And then the ACSC committee will review those reports, review the fees that they potentially will charge, and then make their recommendations then to the board.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right, I am calling for a vote on the screen.
Okay.
Did mine go on?
Yeah, you're there, Anthony.
We're missing.
Two.
There we go. We got it. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay.
All right, so
Do we need a-
we're going to move on, because we
Go
already
ahead.
did E already, so we're going to move on to new business.
Okay. All right, number 12, new business. We need a motion to approve the revised financial qualifications policies that were given back in June on the met the 28 day. Would you like to read this?
This is 12A.
12A.
I can't find the pink page.
Where is the pink page? 35 of 48.
Right.
Maggie?
Okay.
Yeah.
35.
They don't have the pink sheet.
48.
35 of 48.
5.
5 or 35?
I got it. Right, okay. Resolution 0126XX, Financial Qualifications Policy. Whereas the corporation seeks to protect and preserve its financial integrity, and whereas United wishes to clarify and formalize its existing policies for membership qualification by revising its financial qualifications policy to include, but not limited to, revisions to its income and assess requirements, credit reports and FICO scores, and guarantor provisions. Now therefore be it resolved July 14, 2026, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves and adopts the amended financial qualifications policy as attached to the official minutes of this meeting, and resolve further that staff is hereby directed to disseminate this information to the Realty Committee. Would that be Realtor Committee or Realty? Either way, serving Laguna Woods Village, and resolve further that Resolution 012460, adopted June 11, 2024, is hereby superseded and canceled. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. Should the board endorse the proposed resolution, staff recommends that a motion be made and seconded to accept the resolution and allow discussion to ensure that the resolution reads to the satisfaction of the board. Staff then recommends that a board member postpone the resolution to the available board meeting no less than 28 days from the post moment to comply with Civil Code 4360. Is there someone to move this resolution?
I'll move it.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you. Elsie, is there a second?
We have a second? Sue?
Sue, thank you. Okay.
Any questions?
Yes.
Here we go. Whose hand was up first? I think Sue was up first. She was,
Yes.
Maggie was louder.
Okay, thank you. It's always nice to see you. It's always nice to see all the staff that comes before. Poor Alan probably will be dreading this
Did Alan
for
run?
next month, but he always does a fine job. When I was reading through this, it says that qualification stays the same as an income of $40,000, and then they have to meet the entry requirements of savings and the ability to match the price. And, my concern is that this makes it very difficult for people who are coming in here and they only have $40,000. And, the cost of living and everything continues to rise. What does third require? And then the guarantor section, and basically I think that is a person that is, well, you explained it, but I think they're attesting that they will cover all the fees for the individual, and that is then $24,000 for them. Are those reasonable amounts?
Yeah, I mean, third has a higher income. There's a 60,000. So, but United has never changed. You guys have always maintained the 40. We don't see that being an issue. Sales are still solid. And the guarantor just guarantees if the person is not meeting the financial requirements that they have a backup. That way it make sure all your dues are paid. So you have a backup to the person that's purchasing.
Okay, my concern is that we may be setting these people up, but they only have a $40,000 income. And because it goes up every year, it has to because of inflation. So, but if, that's up to the board.
Yeah, we're not changing anything with the financial, the dollar amounts. All we were proposing was just enhancements of current policy practices that staff does. So everything is on the red line of all the changes. We're just
I
more
understand.
clarification.
I just disagree with the 40,000. I think we
Okay.
should be going to the 60.
We're not changing the dollar amounts.
No, I understand that.
But you're recommending.
Yeah.
I was watching here and I have a left and right. Who headed up?
I was.
Okay, go ahead, Elsie.
Thank you. Otherwise, I'll forget. Otherwise, I'll forget
Hurry,
where
go.
my
You're on.
place marks are. Hi, Jeff. Just in order, okay, first of all, I notice on, now, I could be reading this wrong. I'm number one at that. Excluded from consideration, oh, and this is in the section, I'm sorry, this is one.
What page are you on?
Well, I'll just, it's the, see, told you. 23 of 48. That would have been simple, right?
Thank you.
23 of 48. And then there's a numeral 2. And then J, community property. So excluded from consideration are the following. Now, this is consideration for assets you have to have on hand, right? And it says community property.
Yeah.
Well, if a man and a lady are buying, or I shouldn't say a man and a lady, if a married couple are buying in the state of California, if in the state of California, everything acquired during a marriage is community property, basically. So why wouldn't we consider, say, their community, is that supposed to be there?
That was one of the items that was always been in place, so we never reviewed it. So we can look at it.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that because I think it's just, I know we do it because
We do account for it.
well, I know we allow it.
There's probably a history behind it. We did not review that during the discussion, so we can review it and get back to you. Or make an enhancement if that's what you like.
Or maybe if they're still married and they aren't filing a joint return, we're not going to let them, I can see situations, but this is pretty flat. Excluded from consideration are the following: community property. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And then the other one, this is on the next page, number 5, acceptable verifications include, among others. And I'm looking at the red line I, and I know we talked about this during the governing docs, and I know you don't think we've ever looked at it, and I know
No, we
what
did,
your
we
opinion
had
is.
this discussion, and, out-of-state income, we don't count that. So
No, it doesn't
that's
say
why we're
it-
crossing it, or actually,
It doesn't say that.
you're right. This is a striked-out version because now most people do work remote, and they work for remote companies that are out-of-state. So we
Yeah,
agreed
but-
that we were going to remove that.
Okay, but I guess I'm going to put it to the board because the board can change it or not. But my contention is, it's just ink, it's just a little bit of ink. And back in the day, and I know this wasn't 1846, this was just a few years ago, the out-of-state income for any of you guys, like, say you were working in Missouri, and then you retired, and you moved to California, or you buy your property online, say. So you're leaving Missouri, coming to California, but you filed your federal tax return, which you turn in, and to meet your income requirement includes the salary from the business in Missouri. Okay, so say they're still working for that business, and if that's what they're depending on, I just don't think a letter is that much to ask. And otherwise, the answer might be, too bad, so sad.
Yeah, we agreed that, it was irrelevant because out-of-state workers or comments, so that we don't want
We
to.
didn't agree. You agreed. I just thought I'd
Well,
bring it up
the
again.
committee agreed that we would strike that out.
Well, yeah, I'm on the committee, and I'm just bringing it up
Okay.
again because I think it's my fiduciary responsibility. And the last thing that, and it's all good, right? The last thing is, I wondered why we struck the very last page of that section, which is page 27 of 48. The very last sentence has been struck. A staff report recommending approval or denial of the applicant is prepared and attached to the membership packet for the board's consideration and action. And well, again, what's the harm of that sentence? I don't know why we struck it.
Because
did not
that
come
was
up in the meeting.
assuming an old board, like the board package you guys are seeing here, where now we do it separately via DocuSign. So that's why we're taking that verbiage out, because that is no longer being presented as a full staff report for you all to
It
review.
never has been, but we as DocuSigners are signing for the board. That's
Right.
what we're doing.
But this was verbiage speaking for the board package, which you all have in front of you today. This is separate, so that's why we're removing that. is
Okay, I
updating our-
just thought it was a good sentence, and I didn't know why we were taking it out, but it's all good.
Okay.
Okay.
Those are my observations.
Real quick, Maggie?
Okay, that last sentence on page 27 of 48 makes me very nervous because the directors spend like 1 minute on each package. 1 minute. They go only to the flagged issues. They don't have any idea what this means. Half of them don't. And they don't know how to look for it, and they don't want to do personal research on it. So if staff knows what all of this means, and staff verifies by their signature that these people that they are sending to us are, and they make a statement in the paragraph they send it, that they verify that these people seem to appear to have met all our qualifications. I don't want the whole burden of that to be on the shoulders of directors who have no financial background, no ability to check all of this. I'd leave it
That's
in.
insulting.
You know what? They do a very good job of this, Maggie. I read the reports, okay? I don't know if anybody goes 1 minute. You can't do it you can't even get it in 1 minute if you try. I think the staff does a very good job of their background checks and their financial checks. And if there's anything there, we have had suggestions for denials in the past, and I think we should go ahead. We review it. We give it our best, okay? In the years that I've been, almost 2 years, I've been signing these and going over them, I've never had a discrepancy brought up for approvals. Okay. Questions? And then if you got them answered?
I've had questions. I've sent emails. They respond back and let me know where I need to look in those 60-some pages. So,
Right.
but I do go over them.
I don't think Maggie was
Okay, wait a
being-
minute. Let Phyllis speak real quick. She's been very patient.
Three things. The first one is, any income anyone has, regardless of what state it's in, it's going to show up on their tax returns, and they do have to give us their tax returns. The second part is, I am perfectly comfortable with the requirements of $40,000 because just because a person's income is $40,000 does not mean they don't have assets. They can still have enough assets for the rest of their life. The third question I have is about this last sentence on page 27 of 48.
Yep.
If that is struck out, will we still receive the summary page that we're getting now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Rod?
So why remove it?
Yeah.
This was stating that this verbiage was that the package has to be presented to the full board, which is that's something we no longer do. So that's why we're taking this out, because for the board's discretion and action, this verbiage was for an original full board review.
No.
So,
For the
3
committees.
representatives of the board
Right.
approve it. And by board, we mean those representatives. Therefore, it stays.
right, but this is, again, the verbiage was for this being presented to a full board package that would be shown today. That's how we interpreted this, so that's why we struck that line out.
We could certainly clarify the language to indicate that 3 designated representatives of the board.
Yeah, we can do it that way if
There
that's
we go.
easier.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Solution,
Okay.
thank you.
We can do it
Thank
that way.
you, yeah.
Yep.
Paul?
Just when you're ready, we have one member coming on Zoom.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, give me 1 second. We're going to Manny Robledo. Give me 1 second.
We have
Manny
one member comment.
Robledo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can't see you.
Good.
but-
I support the $40,000 one because a lot of people have, as was said earlier, significant assets. And, you know, if your house is paid for, you don't need a lot of money. So maybe they don't draw out of their 401k or what have you. And on their tax return, they may not show 40,000, but they could literally pay for it, you know, out of cash. They don't need income. In fact, I think, I know it's kind of late, but the board I always thought that the board may consider like $1 million. If you have more than $1 million in assets, then you don't need income requirement. But anyway, just something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, Manny. Okay. Should we vote for this? Yes. Please. Yeah, it's been moved and seconded. We discussed. Now we need the screen. There it is. There's a very clear picture. Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Get back to the front here. Are we at 12B? Okay, 12B, we need another motion. You want to read this, Maggie?
I'm looking.
That's okay.
I don't have it.
Here, I read mine.
Yes, I do. Thanks. Okay. Develop a resolution 0126XX, develop and implement an inspection program. Whereas weather forecasts indicate a high likelihood of wetter than normal winter later in 2026, increasing the potential for moisture intrusion and other weather-related building deterioration. And whereas the board recognizes the value of implementing preventative maintenance measures to identify and address building envelope deficiencies before they develop into more significant restoration projects. And whereas staff recommends approval of an unbudgeted operating expense of $50,000 to develop and implement an interim inspection program focused on higher risk buildings, whereas on May 26, 2026, the United Finance Committee reviewed and endorsed the recommendation to approve the proposed inspection program and associated funding. Now therefore be it resolved on June 9, 2026, the Board of Directors of United Laguna Woods Mutual hereby approves an unbudgeted operating expense of $50,000 funded through the operating fund to develop and implement an interim inspection program, and due to the urgent nature of the program, waiving the standard procurement process and authorizing staff to award a single source contract to a qualified licensed contractor consultant, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move this resolution.
Do we have a second? Thank you, Jonathan. You've been quiet. Okay. We have some comments on this, Murad?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for this motion. It's important, so I don't go through the genesis of it because I think we all know what it is. I just have a question, Ian. In the scope of work, it mentions 25 pre-selected buildings. How did you come up with the number? Is it just based on the $50,000, or did you guys go through the criteria to identify the high-risk buildings and identified only 25 high-risk buildings in the community?
Yeah, so we have not identified 25 buildings per se, but looking at the overall scope of work and what we would be asking for a consultant to do, we believe that 25 buildings is going to most likely be the cap of what you would get. So that's what we put in the scope of work. However, that can always be adjusted when interacting with a qualified firm.
I'm sorry. We identified a couple of criteria to be used. We said at least 10 years since the last paint. So that could be more than 25. And 10 or more service requests associated with water intrusion or plumbing leaks. You put these, what we asked for you guys to use those criteria and determine what the high-risk list is. It could be 60. If that requires more than $50,000, we're willing to pay for it. So I don't want the $50,000 to be a limit to how many buildings we're doing, because it looks like someone took $50,000 divided by 2,000 a building, he's 25. We don't want that.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're happy to take the direction to scratch that out of the scope of work and move forward.
Whatever the number is, and we'll pay for it.
So what we want here is to see the amount of buildings with these criteria that you just mentioned. With the
We should use
with
those
the,
criteria.
With the 10 tickets, was it 10 tickets? And
the 10-year.
And the 10-year. So
and see what we
10
come
years
up
of
with.
paint and a minimum of 10 tickets, and I think that's what we're looking for. Kathy?
Okay, I'm a little bit confused about the scope of work and the $50,000. In my cul-de-sac and ensuing, say, half a mile or whatnot, currently there are over 25 balconies that have already been tested because of dry rot. So with this assessment, what buildings are you going to look at that's going to improve upon what's going on right now for the painting process? How are you going to select buildings that aren't on the schedule? I mean, I'm just confused about, because this is what they're going through right now as far as for painting and all of the damage or the dry rot that they are finding. So how is this going to help us in the long run if, say, 50,000 is all you're talking about and 25 buildings out of 6,326?
Ian, if you don't mind, I think I need to do the genesis. So those buildings are at the end of the 15-year program.
Correct.
Right. We are saying that given El Nino coming up, and that's going to be a major event that's going to cause damage restoration costs to skyrocket to more than $2 million. We're saying we should not allow buildings to go 15 years before we inspect. We should have an inspection cycle now for any building at 10 or more years, i.e. 5 years prior to the expiration of the paint program, and look into them, because 10 years is a long time. And if you have those buildings that are 10 years or more with some significant number of service requests associated with water leaks or water intrusion, we should look into them in addition to the ones that are being done at the expiration of the 15-year period, which is what you mentioned just now.
So you're talking about when tickets are put in for damage restoration for water issues, those are the buildings that they're going to specifically do this additional check
If they are 10
prior
years
to.
or more since the last paint.
Thank you. All right, all right.
Ian, thank you. I think we did tell you $50,000, and that was the cap. And so you came back with a proposal that you thought would meet that $50,000. I don't know, I totally understand what people are trying to do. We have an extensive dry rot problem in our community. And so I kind of thought this was going to be like a sampling of, what's going on. And then, with the 10-year, because if we find that dry rot, we have to do something about it. So it's not just we do the inspection and then, never mind, we'll wait 5 years until the paint program catches up. Maybe this could be used as a baseline to say maybe that 15-year isn't appropriate. Maybe we need to do something else. So I understand where it came up with. Now I think the board has to decide if we want to put more in or less in or give direction to maintenance.
What I see here, though, is we need to find out these buildings that need this, okay, by the ticket number and by the age of 10 or more, okay? And that's not what's here. That's not what is being presented to us. Okay, they're just saying 25 buildings.
That meet those criteria.
But they didn't use this criteria.
Didn't use the criteria.
So the
to come up with
criteria
number
would
of the
be-
buildings. Could be more.
Right, so the criteria is something that we would use to direct the consultant. The criteria is not going to be part of their specification of work that they bid off of.
So how do they identify the building?
Yeah, how do they pick a building?
Yeah, we'll give that to them.
How do you give it to them?
We run reports in the...
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So there's a list.
We haven't done that yet.
But you will,
We will, absolutely,
based on the criteria.
based on the criteria.
Thank you.
I think Maggie.
Maggie, I think you were first.
Okay. Thinking of rain, I think of hillsides. I think of buildings on hillsides. I think of my building in the flat with lawn all over. My building is not going to get flooded. Somebody on a hillside might experience different things. I would like those people to be checked out rather than a building like mine, which is on the flat in the middle of nowhere.
The service request would reflect that. Someone
Yeah.
with a slope issue would have had a service request in.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, all right. So what my concern is about this is in the way that you're going to try and determine what buildings should be done. And I can only speak to this because just this last week, my building, 864, 865, 866, they started to look for dry rot because our painting schedule is coming up. Every single one of our balconies, mine has to be replaced almost 3/4. It's that bad. Yet I never had any major issues other than reporting that the gutters were separating from the building, which I did, and there wasn't anything that really needed to be done according, when I put in the complaints. So if in my little area, just my building, all of our balconies, all 4 of our balconies, we have serious dry rot, and yet I don't, if you look at tickets, I don't believe there's many tickets that have ever been put in. So to use that criteria to try and determine other buildings, I don't know that it's really going to work. And I don't think $50,000 is even going to come close.
Well, that's why we want to get the buildings. Phyllis?
I just want to clarify for my own usage. In the specifications of work, it talks about pretty much observation, non-destructive moisture observations, as opposed to the 15-year plan when looking for dry rot, where maintenance comes around and can poke holes to find out if there is dry rot in an area. So this is pretty much a field observation of exterior buildings. Is that correct?
If I could direct you to page 9 of 12. Under field investigation 1.9, it discusses destructive observations there.
Phyllis? I was
So,
reading it. I'm sorry.
Director Kesby, maybe you can help me out on this. We have the current project that's going on to find dry rot, correct it, and then paint. What happens next if the evaluation under this finds a porch that has significant dry rot, or finds 20 porches that were going to be found anyway during our process that's currently going on? What happens next?
What happens next is we want to mitigate it, because if you do nothing right now and wait until the 15-year is up, you are extending and making that cost restoration, the damage restoration cost a lot higher. So by early identification, there are mitigation measures we can take now ahead of the El Nino storm to make the overall cost lower at a later date. It's essentially a preventive program, like going to the dentist for teeth cleaning so you don't get a crown later. So this is what we're doing. We're not going to do all of the work that gets done typically at the end of the 15 years in the prior to paint program. We're not doing that. We're just looking at significant issues that can be mitigated now, as opposed to doing nothing and allowing the issue to get worse once the El Nino comes in.
Kathy?
Thank you. How many, with this program that's going on right now for the painting cycle, how many buildings and when did it start that we started researching for dry rot in the paint program? When did it initially start?
This has been an ongoing
Yeah.
program for many, many years.
It's part of the
not
painting
new.
process.
Okay, so, and I understand that. When my building was painted before, no one ever checked for dry rot. And I believe my building was painted in 2011 or something like that. So that's why I'm up for the cycle now, and pretty much my entire balcony has to be replaced based on what they've found, and my other people in that same area. But if you were to come by and actually look at the building, you couldn't tell there was any kind of an issue. So I understand what you're saying as far as this is to locate other things, but what exactly are you going to start looking for? And if you find it, whether it's on a 15-year cycle to paint, we will have to address that problem right away. So we are going to incur more financial responsibilities in fixing those units. So what's the purpose of just trying to do 25 buildings because of the possible rain, El Nino, whatever, by the end of the year? I'm just a little concerned at what we're really trying to obtain, if just based on what I've seen recently and what's going on in my cul-de-sac. I'm
not sure.
Okay.
Section 111 is very clear as to the kind of issues that can be identified and dealt with. And these are the things from A to I, those are the items they would be looking for. And all of them are major issues that can be mitigated ahead of the storm, so we're saying. So I don't understand.
I do understand.
This is back and forth.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
we're
I'm
going to
done.
stop on this. Okay. Paul?
So we do have one member comment for you guys.
Okay, well, I'm going to have the member comment. Okay, and then we're going to vote on this.
Wait,
Wait, we've been hacking this off. Elsie, we're drawing things out. We have 20, we have 30 minutes left in our
She
hearing.
got two turns and I didn't get any. Well, and I had some
Okay,
pretty
member
bad
comment,
stuff.
and then I'm going to let Elsie speak. Yes, Mr. Rader?
The proposal has great merit. I think we're confusing two things.
Me too.
One, the proposal is put forth, as I understand it, to mitigate immediately things that may occur because of the rains coming. But what if we put that aside for a minute and we go with what the thing is also trying to address, which was just stated, finding dry rot and trying to get to it more sooner, budgeting more money towards dry rot. So I think from my perspective, I think that's the most important thing. Now, with regard to the oncoming rains, we have had experience with excessive rain in the past. My thought is, because this was initially proposed to mitigate things before the rains come, maybe we should ask maintenance to tell us what additional de novo new things occurred besides dry rot, because we know it's there, that we could have mitigated because of the rains coming. For example, I'm not an engineer or whatever, but it occurs to me we have roofs that lead to leaks. Maybe we should be looking at some of the roofs. Is there a way to do that? That's just one thought. Do you see what I'm trying to separate? I agree with the proposal, and I think it's being brought up by Kathy and others, that we want to do something about the dry rot. But I'll guarantee you this, you go looking for dry rot, you're going to find it. And if you find it, the way this is going to work is you're going to have to put this out for bid. It takes time. Then the proposal, what they're going to do, by the time you get this all done, you're going to have, one of the rain's supposed to come November. You're going to have only, 3 months to do all these repairs you just uncovered? We're going to do it anyway, and we should speed it up. If you're going to do this, change the tenor of it. Ignore the rains. Let's come up with a proposal that will speed up exactly what Murad was saying. If the building hasn't been inspected within, 10 years or whatever, let's find those and speed it up. And then if you need to address the oncoming rains, find those things that might occur because of the rain, not because they caused additional damage to already existing dry rot. I hope I made my point clear.
Okay. Any final? Elsie?
No.
You good?
I have someplace to be at 1:15.
I know. Right. So, do we vote on this now? Yes. Let's take a vote. Somebody, we need one more vote.
We're waiting on Anthony.
Hit that thing, Anthony. There you go. You got it.
Okay.
Passes. Thank you very much. All right. We are going to put it on high gear right now. We have about 20 minutes left. I'm going to look at C real quick. I think this is a real quickie, and we don't have to have a lot of discussion about that. And it's for the decision and possible action to establish a joint water conservation committee, directors to develop a committee charter. Any questions?
That says it all.
Concerns? I think we should vote on this.
Yeah.
We have a motion. Mary has a motion. Anthony, and Tony. Jonathan, second.
Okay.
All those in favor? Or do we have to do? I'll do this. We'll do this? Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay, great.
Good.
haven't got it.
Did-
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I marked it unanimous already.
Pardon me?
okay.
We're
Okay.
good? Okay,
Yep,
we
yep.
passed it.
Okay.
Thank you. Committee reports, I'll tell you what, you guys, we have committee reports here. Give your fastest committee report you have right now. We need to really run through this. Okay. Murad, you're on deck. This is going to be long.
Yeah.
I'll make it very quick.
Okay. Changing of the guard.
Well, in front of you, you have the income statement for the 4 months ended April 30, 2026. It shows total revenue of 21.6 million and total expenses of 19.4 million for a surplus of revenue over expenses of 2.2 million. About 555,000 of that is operating, and 1.6 million has to do with reserves. Next slide, please. Here you are looking at the operating fund only. It shows revenue of 10.3 million, expenses of 9.7 million for an operating surplus of 599K. If you do remove depreciation, you end up with the 555,000 surplus that I mentioned in the previous slide. 3. So here you have the 2.2 million at the bottom of the actual column, at the bottom, $2,191,000. And that surplus is way ahead of budget. Budget has 948,000. We have 2.2 million. So we have a positive variance of 1.2 million. What does that mean? Last month, it was 1.6 million at the end of March. And now it's down to 1.2 million. It means that we are doing more work, especially out of the reserve. We're catching up. There's still work to do. For example, we're doing more work on the paint program and prior to the paint program, but we're still in the hole. We still need to do more work out of the reserve to catch up. Next slide, please. This shows it quite well. The materials and supplies and outside services are both reserve items. We are positive on materials and supplies to the tune of 418,000 because we are delayed in the paint program, but also there are deferrals with regard to the appliance program where residents are not getting their renewals done in a timely manner. Outside services was $700,000 positive in March when we looked at this last, and now it's down to $381,000. It means that we are catching up on our delays with regard to building maintenance and damage restoration work. So that's a good thing. Operating is still positive because we still have open positions in landscape, M&C, and some folks are still on leave. The last one is 167,000 positive because of a $100,000 adjustment made to receivables from residents that was deemed unjustified. Next slide. Here you just see the major revenue streams, non-assessment revenue streams. Number one, obviously, is investment income at 26%. It was 24% last month. Second, you have fees and chargebacks to residents for damage restoration. It's down from 29% to 20% because of the $100,000 adjustment I just mentioned. And then you have laundry at 12%, same percentage as last month. Here you look at non-assessment revenue. You look at actual, total of 667,000, second column from the left. Budget is 814, so we're 147,000 below budget, but that's primarily due to that adjustment I mentioned that hit the resident maintenance fee line, where you see a variance of 152,000 negative. That's because of that $100,000 adjustment I mentioned, and that is why we have that variance. Moving on to the next slide. This is fairly similar to last month. Employee compensation and outside services put together comes up to 46% of total compensation versus 44% last month. Moving on to the next slide. Here we have total expenses, $19.4 million at the bottom of this second column from the left, which is 1.5 million below budget, as you can see, and we're catching up. So this month, the actual is 93% of budget, and last month it was actually 89%. So we are still delayed. We still have work to be done, but we are catching up as compared to the month before. So that's good. Here we have the contingency and reserve fund. You see at the bottom, 14.7 million at the end of April. It was 15 million at the end of March. So the reserve is dropping because we are expending more. We expended $1.7 million in just the month of April, which is definitely an acceleration compared to the prior months. So work is getting done at a faster clip, but we're still delayed. And then here you see the reserve and contingency. We're sitting as of April at 15.6 million. So the reserve is doing well. We continue to replenish it, both the reserve and the contingency. And we are striving to go to that black line, almost 17 million, which is our average reserve balance over the last 5 years. And here, this is the last slide. You see the resale activity, it's down. So when you compare the first 4 months of 24 versus 25 to 26, it's dropping year over year. So the number of resales is dropping, but the average price per unit is going up. Not as fast as from 24 to 25, but it's still going up 25 to 26. And while resale activity is down, rental activity is up. And our rental percentage is 14.3%. And that's my report.
All right, thank you very much, Murad. Okay, like I said, when we go through these, please give us a brief as you can. Tony, you're first. Report A and C.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Architecture Control Committee will meet again on June 18th.
June 18th.
Here at 9:30 in the morning. Everybody's welcome. It's an open meeting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Elsie, you have the membership hearings.
My report's going to take about 20 minutes. Okay, I hope that's okay. Oh, it's not okay? Okay. It's secret, I can't tell you, no information, but the hearings are very serious and very important. So I don't mean to lighten that, but I have to report on something I can't give you any information on.
Thank you.
So the next meeting is July 2nd at 9:00 a.m., but don't bother showing up.
All right. Government documents review. Maggie?
Yes, we reviewed some governing documents, and we will meet again next month. You may come. Anybody can come
Yes.
and join in. Thank you.
Landscape Committee. Sue has stepped out. Let's go on. Maintenance and construction, mine. The next maintenance and construction will be June 24th, 9 a.m. in this meeting. Please come and share. Energy Subcommittee, Tony?
The Energy Subcommittee will meet next on July 13th, and it will be at 1:30 in the afternoon here in the boardroom.
And that is an important committee. Come share and see what we're doing. We have Residential Advisory Committee. Tony?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resident Advisory Committee happens this Thursday in the Elm Room at 4 p.m., and there's no Robert's Rule, so come and let us and talk to us. Thank you.
All right. GRF committee highlights.
Oh, Finance Committee.
Yep.
Yes, Mr. President.
GRF Finance.
The GRF Finance Committee met on May 8th. The main thing was we approved an appropriation of $400,000 to speed up the ERP implementation. The next meeting will be held on June 17th.
June 17th, right. Okay. Activities Committee, Director Addington.
The GRF Community Activities Committee met on May 14th, and the next meeting is June 11th at 1:30 p.m. And that's always a very lively, informative meeting, so all are welcome.
All right. Landscape Committee, Sue has stepped out. Let's go to GRF Maintenance and Construction. Jonathan?
We met on April 20th, and the next meeting is at June 20th tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Please join us.
Okay. Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee. We're going to meet one of these days. We're still to be determined. We will make it eventually. Sure. Mobility and Vehicles Committee, that would be Tony.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our next meeting is on August the 5th at 1:30 here in this room, and it's an open meeting. Please come and talk to us.
Okay, here's a little add-on to Director Kathy on Broadband Committee.
Okay, on broadband, we met on May the 28th in a special open meeting. We covered some of the costs that are going to go into effect come January the 1st. And basically what it is, it's going to be a flat, an additional $40 to our association dues. But don't panic, because your West Coast internet bill will go away. And if you have any set-top boxes, that will go away. So that is pretty much okay. One other thing that I'd like to talk about, Cynthia mentioned about the internet. One of the issues that we are having with Ting Internet is that we currently have West Coast Internet and Ting Internet, and the two systems do tend to fight each other, and that could be why some of the areas aren't getting as high of megabytes or whatever it's called. So our next meeting for the broadband will be on August the 24th at 1:30 in this room. And then if I could go directly into the security and community access.
Please.
We met on April the 22nd. I covered a good portion of that in our May meeting. Our next meeting is June the 24th in this room at 1:30.
All right.
Laguna Woods Village traffic hearings met on May 20th, 2026, and the next hearings are on June 17th and at 9 a.m. And that's by appointment only.
Thank you. Okay. Tony, you have the Disaster Preparedness Committee?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, it's a very active and meeting. It's open. Please join us on July 28th at 9:30 a.m. in this room. Thank you.
Okay. We have IT Advisory Committee. Jonathan?
Well, excuse me. The future is here for sure. The IT, we met on May 29, and the next meeting to be TBD. Please join us.
Okay. Energy Ad Hoc Committee. Kathy?
Okay, so we had our second session on May the 18th, 2026. A couple things that were talked about that are going to be brought up at the next meeting on June the 30th is balcony solar. That you can actually put on your balcony and run some of your stuff in the house to help alleviate your electric bill. And we also chose to take out the word charter. And so for now, that's basically it.
Okay, thank you. That's important stuff coming up. Land use ad hoc, that would be Mary.
The group finalized the mission statement and the scope of work. Just half a sentence on the mission: to advise the Golden Rain Foundation Board on the condition of currently available or underdeveloped land within Laguna Woods Village. And the next meeting is to be determined.
Okay, the next meeting is June 26th? Is that right?
Actually, yes, that's what's on my calendar. I didn't
Okay.
see it in here, so
Okay,
I
yeah,
wasn't sure.
June 26th, okay.
At 10 a.m.
That's an important meeting. Come and get educated about what we have around us. Water Conservation Committee, that would be Sue.
We're meeting on July 30th at 2 p.m. in the boardroom.
Okay. Sue, would you like to go back? Do you have anything about the GRF Landscape Committee, or should we? Okay, thank you. Okay. We did that. Future agenda items. Anything sticking up in the air?
Yes,
Yes.
different, totally different. You're welcome to come to Robert's Rules Club on the first Monday of every month, and we meet right beside the PAC office. Just make a little left there, and we meet and discuss all kinds of important stuff. Thank you.
All right. Director's comments. You have 1 minute apiece. Terry, would you like to say anything? Mary? Oh, sorry, yeah. Mary?
No comment?
Jonathan?
Yes. First of all, I want to say I'm very, very happy to see so much collaboration and improvements made on a monthly basis throughout this entire board on both sides of the aisle. And the transparency is tremendous. And even though I'm part of several subcommittee, we go through the bolts and nuts of every subject that we discussed even today, but bring it up to the full board for additional discussion, I think it's beyond my belief. So thank you so much, the staff. Thank you so much, VMS, for all the hard work. And thank you, the volunteers.
Okay. Kathy?
No comments, thank you.
Tony?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing, thank you.
Okay, Sue? Over on the side, Maggie?
Okay, I just want to say that for those of you who pray for rain every month, or in certain times of the year, certain religions and entities do that, I want you to hold it back a little bit this year, please. Thank you.
Murad?
No comment, thank you, Mr. President.
Elsie?
No comment, thank you.
All right, I'm not going to say anything. I am going to say something, excuse me. I have to say something. You guys, I love the way we challenge each other. I love the way that we react to each other. I see a lot of great compassion here going on. So let's take lunch and go upstairs and, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting the look. Do I have?
12:45.
Pardon me?
We'll have till 12:45. 30 minutes for lunch.
Yeah, okay, 30, okay, you got 12:40, we got 30 minutes to lunch, let's go upstairs and have lunch. Meeting is at recess.
Right. That's right, that's right.